single pay program. Everybody here understands one very important historical principle, and that is, in the history of our country, change has never taken place from the top on down. It is always from the bottom on up. Corporations and employers never gave permission for workers to form unions. Workers fought for those union rights. For a very long time, millions of African Americans and their white allies at the grassroots level stood and fought and were beaten and went to jail and sometimes died to say that in America, racism and bigotry and segregation are not acceptable. Years ago, not a long period of time from an historical perspective, 100 years ago, women in America did not have the right to vote, could not go to the schools they wanted, could not do the work they wanted 100 years ago. But women and their male allies stood together, and women went on hunger strikes. They went to jail. Some died to say that in America, women will not be treated as second-class citizens. If we were in this arena all of 10 years ago, no time at all, and somebody jumped up and said, you know, I think that in the year 2015, gay marriage will be legal in every state in this country. The person next to him would have said, what are you smoking? You are nuts. Can't happen. But what happened is, in the face of enormous hatred and bigotry and opposition, the gay community and their straight allies said year after year, decade after decade, that in America, people have the right to love whoever they want, regardless of their gender. That is how change always takes place. It takes place when people look around them and say the status quo is not acceptable. Racism is not acceptable. Sexism is not acceptable. Homophobia is not acceptable. And today, I believe that we are at that moment in our history where the status quo simply is not acceptable. And if you go beyond the corporate media and their sense of reality, and you look around and you say, no, why should we have more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth? Not acceptable. Why should we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any nation on earth. Not acceptable. Why should people in America have to work 2 or 3 jobs to bring in enough income and health care? Not acceptable.
Not acceptable. Not acceptable.
Why are billionaires able to buy elections? Not acceptable. Why are we the only major country not to guarantee health care and paid family and medical leave to all of our people? Not acceptable. What this campaign is about is redefining who we are as a people. What this campaign is about is rejecting establishment politics, establishment economics, what this campaign is about is the understanding that if millions of people, many of whom have given up on the political process, working people who are disgusted with what goes on in Washington, young people who have never voted in their lives, if we come together and we do not allow the Trumps and others of the world to divide us up, if we demand that we have a government that represents all of us and not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors. There is nothing that we cannot accomplish. That's what this campaign is